Have you ever found yourself in a season where it feels like God has gone silent? You pray, you read scripture, you attend church, yet there's an unshakable sense of emptiness creeping in. You might be wondering, where is God? Why don't I feel His presence anymore? If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. Many Christians experience these phases of spiritual dryness, and the struggle can feel isolating and overwhelming. In today's video, we're going to dive into the phenomenon of mental and spiritual dryness. We'll explore its causes, what it means for your faith journey, and most importantly, how to navigate these challenging seasons. It's crucial to understand that feeling distant from God doesn't mean He's absent. It might actually signify an opportunity for growth, an essential part of the journey of faith. First, let's explore what mental and spiritual dryness truly means. This experience can often be described as a lack of clarity or focus, a disconnect from prayer and worship, and even a sense of hopelessness. For many, it results in questioning one's faith, and the sense of purpose can dim. You might find yourself feeling like you're wandering in a spiritual wilderness, a place where God feels far away and the joy of His presence feels out of reach. Now, it's important to highlight that this is not a failing on your part. Such seasons are often a natural part of the human experience, reflected in the lives of many biblical figures. Take David, for instance. In Psalm 42, he pours out his heart, expressing a longing for God in the midst of despair. He cries out, "Why are you downcast, O my soul? Why so disturbed within me?" Yet, even in his struggle, he reminds himself to put his hope in God. This shows us that feeling dry doesn't equate to a lack of faith. Sometimes it's a reality we must face on our journey. So why does this happen? There are several contributing factors. First, life's challenges can weigh heavily on our spirits. Stress from work, family issues, and even global events can create a fog that clouds our connection to God. When we're consumed with external pressures, it's easy to drift away from focusing on the divine. Additionally, the demands of daily life can distract us from our spiritual rhythms. When was the last time you set aside unrushed time to truly connect with God? Sometimes we need to rhythms, carving out sacred moments amid life's chaos. Another contributing factor to spiritual dryness can be found in our expectations of faith. In our walk with God, we often anticipate a constant revelation of His presence, fresh, vibrant experiences of His love and grace. But faith isn't always about feelings. God's presence is real, even when our hearts don't feel it. Just because we're in a valley doesn't mean God has abandoned us. It's vital to remember that faith is not solely predicated on emotional highs. It's often rooted in perseverance and discipline, especially through the lows. During these dry seasons, it can also be beneficial to assess our spiritual practices. Are they feel-good rituals, or are they transformative experiences? There's a difference. Sometimes we may find ourselves going through the motions in prayer, reading our Bibles merely for knowledge instead of a genuine pursuit of intimacy with God. It's essential to approach these practices with a renewed intention. Instead of treating prayer as a checklist item, consider immersing yourself in the conversations, pouring out your heart, and listening quietly for God's whisper. As you wrestle with spiritual dryness, community plays an essential role. Sharing your struggles with trusted friends or family who share your faith can alleviate feelings of isolation. You don't have to go through this alone. Open up about your experience. You might find others who can relate, and that brings a sense of comfort and connection. Moreover, don't overlook the power of worship. Engaging in collective worship, even when you feel distant, can be a powerful way to reignite your spirit. Sometimes the act of worship itself brings a fresh perspective, reminding us that God is still worthy of our praise, regardless of our feelings. Now, if you're wondering what practical steps to take when feeling spiritually dry, I suggest starting with the small, daily gestures. Seek out the beauty in quiet moments, a sunrise, the laughter of a loved one, or the tranquility of nature. These can be gateways back to experiencing God's presence. Reflect on His creation and find peace in the reminders that He is always near, whether you feel it or not. Consider journaling your thoughts, prayers, and reflections. Putting pen to paper can help clarify what you're experiencing, and create a tangible outlet for your emotions. You may discover themes in your struggles that can point towards a deeper understanding of your spiritual life. Engaging with Scripture is also crucial. Instead of skimming through to check off the boxes, immerse yourself deeply. Select a passage that resonates with you, read it multiple times, and take time to reflect on it. Ask God to reveal something new to you.
Sometimes, the simple act of dwelling in His Word allows the truth to seep into our hearts and reignite that flicker of faith. Lastly, it's important to remind yourself of what God promises in His Word. He says that He will never leave us nor forsake us. While the feelings might not align with your reality, anchor yourself to those truths. Chanting truths about God's character during tough times can bring renewed hope and clarity. Talk to God about how you're feeling. Honesty in prayer can be a beautiful doorway for Him to work in your life. As we journey through these dry periods, let's not forget the power of hope. Every dry season can be a catalyst for deeper spiritual growth and intimacy with God. While it may be hard at the moment, trust that the clouds will eventually disperse, and in their wake, you may find a stronger connection to His presence than before. Feeling distant from God doesn't have to be the end of your faith journey. It can be the beginning of a significant turning point. Acknowledge where you are, embrace the process, and lean into new practices and relationships that can foster a renewed sense of God's presence. Remember, God delights in your journey even when it feels stagnant. You're not alone in this. The very act of seeking Him is a step toward experiencing Him more fully. As you press on, trust that your spiritual drought will one day lead to a rich season of growth. Allow this time to transform you into a vessel that can share hope with others, navigating similar valleys. Thank you for joining me today at Christian Living Sanctuary. As you continue on your journey, I encourage you to lean into God's promises, nurture your relationships, and cultivate practices that blossom your soul. Stay hopeful, stay connected, and remember, God is still with you, even in the silence. Keep shining His light wherever you go.